Have you ever thought about building a fictional world? And I don't just mean drawing some maps and coming up with character names. I mean building a functional one, with its own physics, its own ethical code, its own languages, a universe so detailed it could basically run itself. Well, today we're going to dive into a system that does exactly that, but for a reason that is probably going to surprise you.
Everything, and I mean everything, starts with this one phrase: the engine must flow. It sounds like something pulled from a massive sci-fi epic, right? Like a line from some ancient sacred text. And in a way, it is. This is not just some cool-sounding slogan, it's the operational law for an entire reality. So what on earth is the engine?
Okay, so think of it like a cosmic heart. The W engine is this metaphysical pump that circulates existence itself. Its whole job is to keep timelines stable, to stop your memory and your very identity from becoming a tangled, chaotic mess. It prevents reality from just collapsing into what the lore calls necrostatic silence. So that idea of flow, it's not just a metaphor, it's literal.
And that idea perfectly sums up the core philosophy built around the W engine. In this universe, standing still is the exact same thing as dying. Any system that doesn't adapt, any government that doesn't self-correct, even an idea that stops evolving, it all just decays. Life, in every single sense of the word, demands constant movement, constant flow. And this idea is so fundamental, it's actually baked right into the physics of the universe.
So, welcome to flow physics. This is kind of like the theory of relativity and the laws of thermodynamics all rolled into one for this specific universe. It's a conservation law, and a simple one at that. It just says that the total amount of energy, information, and structure in the system has to stay in balance, always. You just can't change one of them without affecting the other two.
And here's the math that makes it all tick. Don't worry, this isn't a calculus lecture, but what this equation is showing you is that the change over time, that's the ddt part, of energy plus information plus structure is always zero. They are a perfectly balanced, self-correcting triad. And this one little identity governs absolutely everything, from how galaxies form to how a government should behave.
Okay, so if you've got a universe that runs on such a unique physical law, what kind of society does that create? This is where it starts to feel like we're cracking open the first module of a course, something like a Gov and Conlang 101. Let's take a look at how this core principle of flow builds the very systems of government and language.
This right here is the prime axiom of the government, which is called the Agamemnian Concordat. It is such a simple but incredibly profound firewall against tyranny. Basically, the government's job is to manage the flow of systems, things like communes, supply chains, economies, but it is strictly forbidden from managing the individual life of an individual. It legislates the collective, never the conscious.
And what's so cool is how the government itself is literally structured like a living organism, like a giant nervous system. You've got the longhouse, which acts as the brainstem for all the big decisions. Then you have the columns, which are like these specialized lobes of the brain for different functions. This whole biological structure is designed to be adaptive, to be resilient, to actually embody that principle of flow.
And of course, a universe this deep is going to have its own languages. Not just one, but two, representing this core duality. On one side, you have breathlang, which is deeply, deeply human. Tense, past, present, future is tied to your breathing. Inhaling is the future, exhaling is the past. And on the other side, you have systematicana, a language of pure logic, where a benzene ring isn't just a molecule, it's a perfect six-part sentence.
Okay, let's pause for a second. We have cosmic physics, bioorganic governments, and languages based on breathing and chemistry. The level of detail here is just staggering. But it all begs the question, why? What is the actual point of building a personal universe with this insane level of functional detail? And here it is. This is the big reveal. The entire project is called Duosource, and it's a system of two parallel streams. On one track, you have the fictional universe we've been exploring, and on the other, you have the real world. That fictional universe, it isn't just for telling a story. It's a functional, aesthetic mirror for learning really complex, real-world subjects.
So let's break that down, because this is key. You've got the aux cannon, that's all the stuff we've been talking about. The wind engine, the concordat, all the deep lore. Running right alongside it is the study engine. That's the academic layer, where real-world subjects get mapped directly onto the logic and the feel of this fictional universe.
And boom, here it is. This is the big aha moment where it all just clicks into place. You're struggling with organic chemistry? Well, in this system, you learn it as limbic alchemy, where molecules are actually carbon sentences that are governed by resonance.
Biology becomes vitology, the study of life's flow. Calculus, naturally, becomes flow calculus. The system uses this rich, story-driven world to make these really intimidating subjects feel intuitive and, honestly, fun.
So what this really means, when you boil it all down, is that this is not world building just for the sake of it. No, this is a deeply personal, fully customized operating system, and it's designed for one purpose: to master difficult knowledge by giving it a coherent, story-driven structure that actually makes sense.
All right, so now that we know the secret, let's really dig into the philosophy behind this incredible project. I mean, why go through all the trouble of building an entire universe just to learn stuff?
The goals here are they're so ambitious and honestly beautiful. It's about finding those hidden patterns that connect totally different fields. It's about creating a safe little sandbox where you can play with ideas. But my favorite has to be the last one: to treat science like myth, myth like physics, and physics like ethics. It's about seeing the entire world as one single interconnected flowing system.
And it's incredibly practical. The workflow is actually really straightforward. You just pick a subject you want to learn, say organic chemistry. You mirror it as limbic alchemy. Then the system helps you generate a full curriculum: lecture notes, homework, quizzes, the whole thing, all framed within the story. You're not just memorizing facts anymore, you're mastering a piece of the universe.
So, all of this leaves us with one final thought. This entire system, it's a testament to how we can structure information to make it meaningful. It's a personal cosmos, built for understanding, which really makes you wonder whether it's for learning, for your creativity, or just for a little more clarity. How do you organize your universe?